Hello, this is Robert Dixon, and in this video, I just want to go over real quick just some things that kind of address what I've heard recently. A lot of people that I've talked to recently that are trying to get started, trying to build an agency, but they just have questions like, how do I get started, basically, or what if I don't have this? What if I don't have this? And a lot of times I'll say, those are kind of excuses that our mind uses to avoid actually moving forward. Oh, well, I don't have a logo yet, so I can't do anything, which is silly when you think about it. But our brain is really good at keeping us back from that kind of thing, from saying, oh, I don't want to put myself out there because I don't have a logo or because my website isn't as good as it needs to be yet. And really, when I think back in my journey and starting my business, one of the main things, the real catalyst for making everything change and making everything start working and start making money was when I stopped caring so much. Took imperfect action, I guess. You don't want to come out there with something bad, but it's not a big deal if you kind of go out there and get started and try to get clients before everything's absolutely perfect. And we'll talk in a minute about kind of taking any newness or anything like that and making it a feature instead of a bug. But anyway, what I want to cover today is simply starting with the minimum viable business. That's what I call it. With anything, you want to just say, what at a minimum do we need to kind of get started, and let's get that in place. And again, the most important thing is to get started, get cash coming in, and then we can fix as we go. We can tweak, we can make things better and improve it as we move forward. And even the most detailed plans change significantly once taken live. I've found that time and time again. When we start taking imperfect action, we have this detailed plan for moving forward. And then as we start taking action, it becomes clear that half of our plan wasn't even a good idea for working it in reality. And we're able to see that. And so, if we take imperfect action, if we get out there and start doing it, we're not wasting all that time and resources in something that's going to change. We're making money, we're getting out there, and we're doing what we need to do. So here are just some basic things. And again, this is in response to what people have asked me. How do I get set up? What do I need? And again, half of this isn't even absolutely necessary. Really, all you need to do is go up to a business owner and say, hey, I can do this service for you. Are you interested? That's the minimum viable business model, I suppose. But these are some good things to have. A lot of people say, oh, I don't have this, I don't have this. Here's how you do it. Here's how you can do it in less than a week. Get a logo, get some business cards, have a small portfolio, even if you've never done anything before, accept payment, look moderately professional, and have some sort of hosting. So let's go over that real quick. First is a logo design. You can go on Fiverr and get something for as little as $5 if you want to. But if you want something that's halfway decent, you may need to spend more, like 10 to 25. But we get logos all the time for projects that we work on. Sometimes for clients, we don't do a lot of like graphic design work so much, but sometimes a client will come to us and say, hey, we need a logo and it needs to be bargain basement price. What can you do? And when we have a situation like that, we'll say, look, yeah, we can do something for you, and we'll go to someone like this, because the work isn't generally bad. It's just not like creative branding like you would get from spending a few $1,000s with a branding company. So anyway, you can always change your logo later. It doesn't need to be perfect, and you can get a pretty decent logo from Fiverr. Business cards. You can go to Vistaprint. Their quality is low, but again, this isn't a forever thing. You can spend $10 on a couple hundred business cards, and when you run out, or when you have some more money, you can get better cards. You can get a better logo, get better cards, and boom. No, that shouldn't be holding you back from anything. Putting together a small portfolio. That's generally easy. One way to do it, if you want to do it with your own work, where you can have like references, then just start talking to business owners and offer to do something for really cheap or free, and it's as easy as that. But what's even easier is to go to somewhere like Upwork, hire somebody. For example, if you want to start doing some web design, you're going to need somebody to help you with that anyway. So you can hire someone like this. This is their portfolio, and say, hey, do you mind if I use some of your examples when clients ask what is some work that you and your team have done previously, and I'll say, hey, here's an example of what we've been able to do. And as long as they're okay with that, and they usually would be, then you can use this as an example of your work, especially if you word it correctly. You're not trying to be like, this is mine, I designed it. You're just saying like, this is examples of what me and my team have done before. And so you're going to be using this person for your projects. It's absolutely reasonable to show some of their previous work as examples of what you and your team can do. A way to accept payment, again, some people balk at PayPal because they're like, oh, that looks kind of cheap and cheesy. So many people use PayPal. I don't know if I've ever had a business owner that's thought it was weird to pay via PayPal. For many years now, we've used, like a credit card processing and things like that with a merchant account and stuff like that. But we still have clients that pay via PayPal just because they want to. When you're getting started, there's no reason to pay the relatively large monthly fees to have a merchant account set up when you can just do PayPal. Once you have some money in the bank, then you can spend whatever you want to make yourself look a little more professional. But PayPal is pretty professional. Nobody's going to think you're a 2-bit business for using it, and it's super easy to set up. Look moderately professional. You can find somebody on Upwork to design a very basic but very professional looking website. That's no problem at all. And then get hosting set up. You can get reseller hosting for $25 a month, where you'll have a panel. You can host your clients on it if you want to. You can host your own site, and that's very cheap, very easy. It takes a day to sign up, probably usually even less than that. And there's plenty of companies. For our hosting, we use a company called Liquid Web. They are a little more expensive. We have a full dedicated server with them now. But there are many of those cheap and reasonably sufficient. I'm trying to think of how to describe them. They're not the greatest hosting companies, but they have decent support, and they're not just going to crash on you, more or less. Things like HostGator and I don't know, 1&1, Bluehost, they're all owned by the same conglomerate hosting company, and you can find some pretty good deals for reseller hosting. As for a design, if you want to set it up yourself, or kind of what we do, I guess, we use a multi-purpose theme for most of our client site, most of the projects we work on, and the one that we usually use is called Enfold, and it's $59 for a license, and you can make pretty much anything with it. So here's 9 examples of websites created with this theme. As you can see, they are all completely different from each other. You can do almost anything with it, from very basic to very advanced. And all you need is somebody that knows their way around WordPress and maybe knows a little bit of CSS for some of the fancier things. And again, that's something you can very easily find on Upwork. So that's, I would recommend doing something like that, getting a very versatile multi-purpose theme, and that's mobile responsive and just kind of module based, that has a lot of built-in options and functions, and makes it very easy even for a novice to use. I mean, I know my way around WordPress and I know my way around CSS, but my project manager, when we first started using this theme, it was funny because she was not well versed in WordPress. She knew a little bit about it. She had done some, edited some pages in it before, but she was working on like a free project for a good source of leads, somebody who we had worked with, who regularly referred business to us, and she was doing a favor to him by kind of setting up this very basic site. And the more she used it, the more she would always tell me, like every day, she's like, wow, this theme is really cool. Like there's so many cool things we can do with it. I think we should start using it for our clients. And I kind of ignored her for a little while, unfortunately, because she turned out to be absolutely right. That something like this, and again, it doesn't have to be that exact theme, but just something that is easy and versatile and easy to use and set up. You really don't need to have a lot of technical experience or even a lot of experience with WordPress in order to make it work, especially if you have someone in your corner on Upwork or something like that that can assist you. Even if you want to do most of it, and if you have questions or you need little things tweaked, you can rely on them for that, or you can just hire somebody to straight up build everything and just with your input. It's up to you and how much you want to hire people and how much you want to spend. So, and then we just need to start connecting with business owners, and that's really easy because there's unlimited ways to do it. I've put some of the digital ones first because I know people like to be able to connect digitally, but just go on LinkedIn, start connecting with people, start writing to people that are second level or third level or whatever. Here's when I go to, I think I went to my page, and here it was like people also viewed these people, and it's like, well, there's second and third connections all over the place there, and I can go and see who do we have in common, who do we know in common, and start connecting with them or write to them and like, hey, I noticed that my friend John Smith, like, what do you do? Let's get to know each other or whatever. I mean, there's so many ways you can just connect by sending an email. Alignable is a really cool way to get to know people that are in your physical area. Lunch and learns, different types of events like that. Even reaching out via email. I mean, that's how I originally started my business, was just reaching out to business owners via email and asking them if they needed help with the website and telling them that I would buy them lunch if they wanted to chat about it. And then networking events. All of these things, there are strategies that we teach and that we use to take advantage of these types of connections to get business. But the reality is that you can even forget about all that. Forget actually getting business from these things. Just getting out there and meeting these business owners and telling people what you do is absolutely going to result in business in the long term, medium to long term, I guess you could say, and something often the short term as well. But just getting to know people, and everybody says, oh, well, I'm brand new. That's what am I? Why would anybody hire me when I'm brand new like this? And I always say, you need to make that a feature instead of a bug. The fact that you're brand new can be, there can be a downside to that, I suppose, but there can also be a positive to that, to the client. Be like, hey, look, I'm just getting started in this, but here's what I'm able to do. Here's my portfolio that my team of projects my team has worked on. I'm new at this, but that's a good thing for you because I'm going to be able to do it at half the price that any other company you're going to find is able to do it. Or that's a benefit because you're going to be my only client right now. And so all of my work is going to be focused on you, or whatever you need to do. A lot of times people try to hide the fact that they're new. They try to downplay that or not even mention, oh yeah, I've had some customers before. But that always backfires. You want to be upfront and honest about almost everything with a client. And again, if you can make the fact that you're new a feature instead of a bug, then that will help you get more business as opposed to trying to fudge the truth and pretend like you're an established company. So that's what I suggest. That's how I suggest you connect with business owners. For networking events, you can go on meetup.com. You can go on to groups like BNI and other types of like regular networking groups, the exclusive networking groups where they have just one person from each industry. And then there's like usually the most big towns have a business journal. If you go to the business journal, they host several events a year, or just search for a city and search for networking events because they're always happening in every major city, in every medium city. even in small towns, there's usually Chamber of Commerce events or different things. They might just happen a little less often, but there's always stuff to do. And the more people you meet, everybody that's there is looking to get to know other business people. And so you don't have to worry about a boys club or like an old, like, clique of people that don't like to don't like to meet new people, because that very rarely happens. Everybody's there to meet new people, not to just talk to their friends. So anyway, I went a little longer than I had expected to, but basically today I just wanted to go over things that keep people from getting out there and starting their agency, and hopefully how to overcome them. So hopefully you got some good information from this video. And again, if you have any questions, post it in our Facebook group. If you're not a member yet, feel free to join. It's the Digital Client Mastermind, and we can discuss some more. So, all right, thanks everybody again, and we'll talk soon.